G'day, it's Pete here, and today I wanted to talk about transfers. Transfers are a convention that are popping up everywhere at expert level bridge, and I wanted to go over why are they actually so good and some of the different scenarios and break down what are the pros and cons of transfers there. Now, to do this, what I wanted to do is just first look at the common situations where most people actually play transfers, look at what they actually achieve, and then when we look at some other situations, we can see what's actually going on. So nearly everyone plays transfers after a 1-no trump opening. And one of the questions I've got for you is, why do people actually play transfers over 1-no trump? What are the benefits of doing that? Now, there are a few benefits, but the most common one that I actually hear people say is that you get the strong hand to play it. Which is definitely a benefit, but I don't actually think that's the best benefit of transfers. So the two main things that transfers will do is they'll alter which player is on lead or sort of protect one player's hand from the lead, such as getting the stronger hand to play it. But also it can generate a lot of space. You can gain quite a lot of space by using transfers. So here, let's look at a spot where partner transfers to spades. After we bid 2 spades, they can follow up by passing, or they could bid 3 spades, or they could bid 4 spades, or they could bid a new suit. They could bid 2 no, 3 clubs, 3 diamonds, 3 hearts, 3 no trumps. And all of these different bids have meanings. Whereas if you didn't play transfers, what would actually happen is if partner wanted to bid spades, the only ways that they could do it is they could bid 2 spades, they could bid 3 spades, or they could bid 4 spades, right? These are the ways that partner can actually try and show their hand here if they had spades and you weren't actually doing transfers. But by doing transfers, what you only have is you're giving up one bid, that 2 heart bid, but then you're guaranteeing a next bid. So you've got like this really big growth of options of what you can actually show. So rather than just 3 ways of bidding spades, you can now show spades and a new suit. You can show spades and a weak hand, an invitational hand, a game-going hand, a slam try hand, a hand that wants to offer no trumps as well. And you've got all this variety that you can actually do just by using this transfer. So the flow-on effect means that you have so much more space for being able to show the suits after you actually transfer. But with every convention, what you're actually doing is giving up something. And what we're doing by playing transfers is actually giving up a natural 2 diamond bid. And the question is, well, how useful is this? Well, you don't often want to just play in 2 diamonds and expect to be able to play there. So the cost of this is really low. So for the convention, there is really high reward by gaining space. You can show so many more hands from it, and the cost of doing it's pretty low. And transfers aren't that complicated. There's lots of flow-on hands that you can do. You can delve really deep and get really into the nitty-gritty, but just the concept of, hey, partner, I'm showing the suit above, isn't actually that complicated. But the other benefit of transfers is that it gets to help guide who's going to be on lead or gets the stronger hand to lead. Now, it's not the case that the stronger hand is always the person that wants to have the lead come round to them. Here is an example of a good hand where the 1-no trump bidder really wants to beat the declarer. And what it is because you've got all these tennises where you've got like all these finesse positions where if the opponents lead a spade, it'll go into your ace-queen. If they lead a heart, it's up to your king-jack. Club, it's into your ace-queen. Diamonds, it's not so great for you to lead, but there's 3 suits where it's really beneficial for the lead to be coming up to the strong hand, because it wouldn't matter where the missing honor was. You're going to be able to play last and you're going to capitalize on this. And this is why it's often good to get the strong hand to play it. But it's not that it's always good for the strong hand to play it. So I'll bring up another hand. So here's another strong no trump hand that has 4 aces. This is one where it's probably not beneficial for the strong hand to actually be declaring it at all. Uh, your partner is the one with lots of the finesse positions where uh, you'd usually want their honors to be last to play. You'd want the cards to be running around to them. Now, here, transfers are probably detrimental. If you could get your partner to play, it's probably better than you actually playing it. So it's not always the stronger hand that's doing it. It's really the types of suits that you've got that you want the lead coming up to it. There is another benefit of the stronger hand playing it, which is sort of when you're defending, the more unknown cards there are, it's a bit harder to defend. But there's a counter to that, which is also guessing what someone's shape is also really difficult. So it's hard to guide. Is it more important to hide the stronger hand so the defense have more guesses about where the high cards are? Or is it more important to hide the distributional hand? Because imagine partner is pretty weak, but like a 6-4 shape, the opponents might not know which suits to try and cash out or which to attack. So there's a bit of a balancing act of which hand you can actually see. But the main things that transfers gain are that space. There are so many more bids available after you use a transfer, but you are giving up a suit that you can't show. And then also you get the stronger hand to play it in this common spot, but you're ultimately affecting who's on lead and what side is the who's being led up to. So let's look at a few different other situations where transfers are sort of popping up in expert level bridge. So one that's growing in popularity is transfers after one club. So here, after a one club opening, some partnerships are starting to experiment with transfers where one diamond would show hearts and one heart would show spades. And what this can do is it now gives the flow on effect that the opener has a couple of ways of continuing. Here they could reject the transfer and just bid something new, or they could accept the transfer at the one level, or they could just jump and accept the transfer, so forth. Or they could just bid a new suit. So they're the options that the opener sort of has after it. Now, this transfer here, if you're playing transfers over one club, would typically just be saying I've got like a normal one heart response. So 4 or more hearts, not the 5 cards that you would usually have for transferring over a no trump. And there's a couple of schools of thoughts that people transferring will use. Some people use accepting the transfer to show exactly 3 cards. And what this means is if the auction gets competitive, or you'll know straight away, do you actually have a 5-3 fit or not? And you can go on there. Another way that people use transfers over a club is they use accepting the transfer to be like a weak no trump. And if you instead bid 1 no trump, this would be your 18-19 balance. So you can separate out your no trump ranges, whether you accept the transfer or if you bid no trumps. And both of these, you can see how you've gained space and gotten a edge there. But also, what we've done is we've changed who's on lead. And here, transfers over one club, this is probably one where affecting the lead's hard to gauge if this is beneficial or not. Because if the opener is just a minimum opener, often the points will be relatively evenly split. And you don't know if you want the lead coming up to the opener or if you want it coming up to the responder. Now, if you're going to stop in a part score, the opener will often be the stronger hand. But if you're going for game, it's less clear have you actually gained anything by switching sides of who's going to lead. Here, for instance, the opener playing it is good if they're going to be getting a heart lead or a club lead, not so good if they're getting a diamond lead. But the benefit of the lead protection sort of drops down here. But you have gained space and you can solve the problem of either finding the 5-3 fit or either the problem of separating out the 18-19 balanced. Another spot where people are playing transfers, it's now really common at the expert level that after you open one of a major and the next hand doubles, that you actually play transfers here. So Two clubs would show diamonds. But importantly here, so two clubs would show diamonds, two diamonds would show hearts. But what you actually gain is a couple of ways to transfer back to spades to show support. So you have both two hearts be a transfer to spades showing support, and also two spades showing support as well. And what this allows is a couple of different ways that you can support partner just at the 2 level, showing that fit in a competitive situation, but also being able to branch out where you've actually got your points here. So by doing that, what you can do is you can have sort of like a really weak raise, or you can have like a sort of 8 to 10 raise, both hands that want to support, but you don't actually want partner to get carried away. The other part about playing transfers here is if you had to guess which hand between East and West you would want on lead, you would really want West to be on lead most of the time. It's often beneficial to get the stronger opponent to be on lead, because if you can ever think about situations where you're defending, where you can never get to your partner's hand and they can never lead through that one critical suit, it is so difficult to defend. Whereas if defense is where each side can get on lead multiple times, they can work out what they need to do. So if you can often make the stronger hand on lead, it's really difficult for them to attack all the suits necessary. So here, you would really want West to be on lead rather than East. So let's say that we were going to end up playing in diamonds. You could bid 2 clubs transfer, and now we've bid 2 diamonds, and we've switched which side is on lead. So when you're trying to protect the lead, it's not always that you need the stronger hand to play it. If you get the stronger defender on lead, that can often make it so that whichever suits they need to attack, they can't effectively attack because they can never get to their partner's hand at all. So here, another great spot where people are playing transfers and what you're actually gaining from them. Now, whenever you play transfers, all of them have a cost. If you're playing transfers over a club, you can no longer bid 1 diamond. How big of a cost is that for you? If you're playing transfers over a major double, often 1 no trump is a transfer to clubs. The question is, how do you get to 1 no trump? How do you show those different hands? Also, there is extra added complexity in these different spots. But largely, you're always just showing the suit above. It's not that complicated, but it does add complexity there. Another spot that I wanted to highlight that people are playing transfers, which you don't see nearly as often, but I want to talk about a spot where, let's say they open a club and it goes, say, a 1 spade overcall. Here we've got a hand that wants to get to 3 no trumps. We've got a spade stopper. We don't have hearts. Bidding 3 no trumps looks really good. Often I see people have a way to transfer partner to 3 no trumps. So it's all about choosing who is actually going to be on lead. So you could have a 3 spade bid here, some people use, as just a transfer to 3 no trumps, saying, partner, I was going to bid 3 no trumps, but I actually want you to play it. And what this does is it gets the stronger opponent on lead. Imagine that if partner's got the queen of spades, or if I open up all the cards, here, if West is on lead, they lead a spade. Yes, we've got a spade stopper, but leading through that queen is quite dangerous for us. But if East is on lead, we know we've got at least 1 spade stopper. Our 9 might be useful, but whatever partner has on top of that will be beneficial, and getting it played from partner's side can be useful. So this is another spot where people use transfers. Transfers are a really powerful tool. They're cropping up everywhere. So I wanted to highlight some of the more common spots that I've actually seen it, but explain why are they using it? What are the advantages you're getting out of it? What are the costs? And it's something that I think you're more and more likely to see going forward in the future. People are experimenting with transfers everywhere, and it's really interesting to see which ones have enough merit that they'll be widely adopted. And I think you'll see that transfers will be played lots and lots more. And it'll just become more common that you'll have transfers in these different spots. So I hope you enjoyed this review of transfers. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you next time.